And then you came to Vietnam, and you met people. And in this terror, in this pain, you got close to people, you bonded. Tell me about that.
I had a different experience than many of the men that were sent over there. Most men were sent to Vietnam were sent over as individuals. And these individuals would enter companies and platoons that were already established. And then individuals would be removed and brought back to the States. This was the customary way to have men come in and out of war at that particular time. No one ever went over as a unit. But I was fortunate enough to go over as an entire squadron. So I had trained with these men, and I went over with all of them, and I began the war, I experienced the war, and I left the war with many of these men.
Tell me about how close you got to these guys.
During the intensity of war and mortar attacks and the fear of dying, there was an incredible bond that connected us. We had each other's lives in our hands.
You called yourselves the Wild Kingdom.
We even made a name up. In this little group that we had, we called ourselves the Wild Kingdom. And we were tight. We would go places together when we had any time. We would talk at night. We would really begin to try to understand what we were doing as young men. What did this war mean? What was important about what we were doing?
Have you experienced such closeness after the war with men?
I've never had an experience that would parallel that. I've had close experiences with men, but never at the same intensity level. There's no experience in life that is so catalytic and connected as war.
Could we even say, in a kind of macabre way, that it was wonderful being with these men?
Yeah, I would think so, because the memories of those men are very clear in my mind.
You loved them.
I love them.
They loved you.
Yeah, and I still can feel, as we talk about it, I can still feel the connectedness. Some men I haven't seen for 20 years.
And that kind of meaning endures and keeps you connected to Vietnam. Do you miss that?
I think there is a part of me that craves another high experience like that. I mean, if I'm to be honest. It was terrible, it was terrifying, it was philosophically the wrong thing to do, but on an internal level, there's a part of me that craves to have some experience in my life that has the same intensity and excitement that did, the power.
Is this why men get together who are veterans to, in a way, celebrate the memory? To rekindle those memories?
For me personally, I think I get together with other veterans primarily because they understand. They know the experience, where no person that wasn't in war could understand that experience. We get on the same wavelength.
And as horrible as it was very special. You had your little place. It was like a house. It was called a hooch. Tell me how you kept yourself comfortable, what made you happy.
Well, I was fortunate enough to live in a little tin building with a tin roof and a plywood building with sandbags stacked around it to protect us from the mortar attacks.
And the base was called?
The base was called Marble Mountain, where I was stationed, and this was a helicopter base where there were numbers of different kinds of helicopters, and we were the support team for the helicopters.
And in that little hooch, what would you do to make yourself happy?
In that little hooch, we were fortunate enough to have electricity at different times during the day, and we would listen to music that we brought over. I had a close friend whose mom would send him every new Motown record that came out.
So you were hip to the new music.
We were hip to the new music. We wanted to stay current with what's going on back in the world.
Stateside.
Yeah, we called it the world.
You were in country, and then there was the world.
Right. We were in hell, and then there was the world.